time for Nuke.
Mm.
That was a very back and forth affair, which I guess is obvious because it's multiple overtimes.
Yeah, that was a slugfest. It was
Mm.
just swings back and forth, probably a lot of emotional rides up and down for both teams. Winning rounds they shouldn't, and getting away with things that it was just a whole roller coaster, and then taking it to overtime.
Yeah.
And there's got to be some mental fatigue there heading into this third map, because when you get into OT and every round, it's very stressful on the mind. And, like every round counts, and it's just like all that focus goes into it. So we'll see who's able to reset better and come into the third map with more focus.
It did feel like very much like a Rocky movie to me, where like you got Rocky just like taking the beats in the face,
Just concussions everywhere.
Then all of a sudden he starts giving the beats. No one has any defense, It's just
everyone's fighting like this. Yeah.
And so it's interesting that it comes down to Nuke, because I feel like it should definitely be the case that Cloud9 should be the better team on paper, but they're just not. And the thing is, it's hard to really pinpoint one thing in particular with Cloud9. It just doesn't seem to be clicking yet. Like you see some great moments, but I have to credit INTZ. They played some of the mid rounds in like a really chaotic way, and it really worked out for them. And they hit some great shots. These guys are really skilled individually. And I have to say, this is a beautiful thing about Counter-Strike, because Counter-Strike is a game where the individuals can really stand out. But you can have the best individuals in the world, but if they can't play as a team, they're not going to do anything. And that's just like, that's why Counter-Strike is a great esport as well, because it's not dominated just by individual skill.
Yeah, I think, and another reason why I like it is, because the individual skill factor, whereas like any moment, anyone can step up at any time and carry around and win. And it's just like that one of those rare games where you're able to do that. But then you also get rewarded for having good team play. And because it's just, it's so deep in both individual skill and team play and strategy.
Which is great too, because if you are getting older, if you're an older player, experience counts for a hell of a lot. Like it's really a big deal. And you can see with the younger players, because right now we have this influx of like insanely good, like young talent, and they're insanely good in terms of mostly just their mechanics and their ability to shoot people and to have like a really cool, like good level of game sense. When it comes to that higher level of understanding of the game from a more macro perspective, how to work with your teammates, all these other skill sets of being a pro player, obviously that's where they're going to be lacking. Obviously, you're going to be lacking in dealing with pressure, the psychological elements as well. And so I feel like we have this cool moment where we're seeing these teams where we get a couple of the older guys and some of the newer guys. And I like this mix. However, I think people also still do emphasize the individual elements a little bit too much. For example, like let's say someone who was really special when we first saw him come up was Rops, for example, because you look at him, he's like very young, but he's actually making like his whole game plan is focused around playing intelligently beyond everything else. That's still now, like with all the youngsters coming up, I still haven't seen another person that's like Rops to that degree.
Yeah,
so
someone that can adapt quickly to the high level of play. Because I mean, like you said about mechanics, I think nowadays like the equipment is so good, everyone has higher monitors, you've got all these aimbots and training tools, and you can get to that high mechanic skill fast, but that next step where you take your decision making and your awareness and your communication, all those elements of your gameplay, really comes down to who you can play with, like who are your teammates, who can help mold you, who can you learn from. How you try to get with a really high level IGL player, those are those players that's going to take those young talents to the next level. And
look at these odds now, pretty close. Cloud9 a very slight favorite, but there's not much in it. And I don't know what to expect. INTZ have got new things to show us, that's for sure, with the double underpass play and so on, which is good. We're seeing change from them, it's promising.
Well, the thing is as well with Cloud9, we've seen some horror shows on this map. We've seen on their T sides in particular, they've gone missing entirely. Again, there's been some promise here and there. They can obviously play the CT side, but the last T sides we saw on this map from them didn't look very good. And so I'm hoping that whatever it was has been kind of fixed, and they were playing against some really good opponents in some of those games. So against INTZ, again, you gotta favor them. But let's see what they can pull together. They'll start off on that T side, so we'll get an answer to their T side pretty much immediately. It's a hard map to play as far as T sides are concerned.
Yeah, and this pistol round's absolutely crucial. We see Daps here with one of each nade. Probably gonna open the door, smoke mini, and gonna do an upper vent fake drop. The rest of the team gonna try to overwhelm ramp room.
And Xana's trying to fall back. He actually stays out there to try to frag. Destiny's going to try to frag as well, and now it's a 5v2, so the round is effectively over. They're outmaneuvered, outmanned, outgunned at this point. Oh, actually going upper, switching it up. They're just going to kill everyone. So that works as well. Yet to lose a player, actually, and that's a good start. And this is so cool. Like when you win the pistol on the T side, you can set the tempo. You can really execute a game plan. You know the exact money of your opponents. You can run a couple rounds, run that first buy rounds, create some expectation, then play off of that. It's such a different spot to be in than if you lose a couple rounds, have a limited economy. They already have an economy.
Yeah, it gets snowball in the CT favor for sure. Yeah, quick and simple strat, like Cloud9, nothing fancy. INTZ did make the right play. They had 2 players in ramp room, and they had a crossfire set up, and they just weren't able to land those first shots.
4 smokes for INTZ. What do they have in mind? Inferno-esque plays. All the blue for Cello. Lots of Brazilian colors on practically every Brazilian player. Oh my god, that is quite the combination of grenades. I imagine there's a lot of flashbangs there that allows them to face a lot of the site. Shock and awe straight into the A bomb site. And they've not taken a lick of damage, not a single hit point. Gotta say that's pretty successful. The re-smoke of Mini is in. Will they boost? I reckon they will. There's the elevation. Up we go. Marvelous stuff. Excuse me. Outmaneuvered on this occasion, and INTZ can, of course, just reset the situation in a future round, well, the next round. Hold on to these 4 players and bits and bobs they have. And everything is all good in the hood. You're trying to dispose of weapon or something? Make sure it doesn't blow away. FACEIT fishing for something, but... Okay. He's trying to find whatever he can. Battle of the weapon disposal service. 2-0 Cloud9.
Right, so and there's some pistols left. Could just run the same round again. Get some outside control build into Heaven Take. Also is you know, it's always a good look as well. So that's at the hot molly. And they go forward to ramp. Oh, that's some damage. 2 headshots. Massive damage done by Yell. They've gone to the worst position, it seems, because Yell is on point.
Oh, this is really bad.
Ooh, but the recovery, the push. INTZ fiending into lobby, and they will get caught.
There are weapons to be collected. Surely automatic gets taken out. Yeah, there he goes. Allows TenZ to take position, but he gets tagged as well. Yell's been devastating on the ramp. Absolutely devastating. But it's a 2 versus 2. I know rifles have been collected. It's risky for TenZ, but maybe he tries to throw some grenades up top. That look from Daps is going to pay dividends. Sand, the only man standing. Daps looking to sweep the area with the MAC-10. Sanders misses opportunity, and there is recovery from Cloud9. It's a 3-0.
How much are you raging if you're Yell right now? Like,
Yeah, why are you guys pushing? Why
Yeah.
they did not need to push that doorway. They were up 4-on-3.
he's got the bomb
Yeah,
and
he's got the
everything.
bomb. Totally unnecessary push.
It's so insane that they did that. Oh, he did so much damage. He basically won the round for them.
And then they lost it.
That's really sad.
Both teams on the bye now. INTZ looking for their first round. Yell with a nuisance flashbang outside. A Molotov to ruin the smokes. There's got to be a gap there, but can he get into position in time? Daps has made his way in, realizing what could have been at risk here, but there's actually no peak really for this gap. And look at the size of it. It's It's a sizable gap. They have no idea how many players have gone downstairs. And it's only one. TenZ gets his bell rung somewhere.
Even though they do lose that previous round, it is at least a good sign that Yell is really looking sharp with the sniper. He did do a significant amount of damage to the economy of Cloud9, so their money's not great. So it's you know, all things considered, they're fairly well set up if they are to win this round to bring things back into control. Daps is lower. Decontamination right now, just trying to make some sound cues, pull rotation. Cello's already down there though, and an investigation is coming in towards the lobby position. Yell cannot scope until he's absolutely sure.
TenZ is still playing essentially an anti-eco position. He must have heard that scope. He's biding his time, 30 seconds. Oh, this is disastrous. This is like Chuckle Brothers now. Smartly, INTZ fall away, but they were in such a strong position, although the position was kind of known with the scope, there was potential. And now it's absolutely disastrous, although they've managed to get 2 kills. Kusa goes up onto the high ground, but not enough to save his bomb carrier teammate. 10 seconds now. Some uncertainty, focusing on the upper area. Sand still alive for now. Can the bomb get planted? Got to cover the hut, but there's no cover!
Counter-terrorists win.
So INTZ still able to convert it. So much potential with the push. Conceded position with the scope.
What just happened
Blocked each
there?
other with the flashbang. Lost 2 players and still won the round.
Yeah.
Dude, these two teams should not be allowed to play each other. That's the conclusion I've come to, because it's just so
Yeah,
strange.
these guys bring weirdness out of Counter-Strike. I mean, some bizarre rounds and finishes I haven't really seen. Cloud9, yeah, they had complete lower control, and they were in prime position to finish. They just couldn't. That 4 player behind Silo on an upper, able to get the entry, and that was a huge kill.
It's a tough peek. It's a left eye position that you don't have much room to work with. Yell can't make it work this time around. Caught out by Cloud9, and that's an enormously impactful pick. They've taken away the orb. That like Yell was he was serving to. They dispose of that orb? No, they're baiting it. What are they doing? Well,
It's just there.
either way, it's just there. Yeah, but yeah, they're in such a good position now. 5v4 on the T side, you got over a minute to play it with. It's a dream position. And Ron, you're talking about playing out those advantages and not throwing them away. So this would be a prime example of a round in which they should be able to do that.
Yeah, 5 members still with full HP. Daps gets the info play, tags 1 player lower. In secret. And Cloud9 just overrun upper. You have the info on one of those players.
Looks good. Save for INTZ. It's outmaneuvered here, and that's often what it comes down to on this map. It's about rotation, CT rotations, and if you can create an argument for them to go lower, and then you swap to upper or vice versa, it can be very strong.
INTZ are 62% on Nuke with 8 maps played in the last 3 months, and Cloud9 are 50% with 4. But probably playing against higher tier opposition as well, so we have to bear that in mind. But it feels 50-50 to me the way things... Maybe not 50-50, I'm not sure.
I think there's a stylistic element to this matchup that because I think that's what's causing the weirdness, is there's just a stylistic matchup.
Yeah, on paper I feel a bit 50-50, but I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I've seen enough, but the score is pretty bad for the CT side of Nuke, of course. 4 rounds already. At this point, maybe it's already time to favor Cloud9. Just based on the current climate, on the status quo. Yell has made his way with all of an MP9 into secret. And then there's the whistle of the wind. SHZ waits, as most of the CTs will have to do. Lining up the smoke grenades. You can see the, I think it's the actual I think Mixwell's lineup is the actual grenade on the lines of the silo. The deeper smoke grenades allows them to creep. Kusta with angles. He could deploy a nice pop flash for his teammates, I think, into the secret position, although they don't have the smokes for the cross. Automatic may have just taken himself a ramp. Checking all the usual positions. 45 seconds on the clock for Cloud9. Still 5 players alive for INTZ.
40 seconds.
Yeah, 40 seconds, and Cloud9, they have to commit to something, and it has to be upper. Yeah. With the patience and the tight angle there and the 90 degrees. And Cloud9 forced to rush lower. We'll see if they have time.
Off angle, only good for one though. 19 seconds. We've got a rotation now towards the B-bomb site. Kusta going for the plant. I don't know if anybody's in decon, so could have ended in disaster. But they were planting to be safe from the ramp, so maybe they'll sound cues. It's a pop flash, and Kusta will deal with the remaining 2 players. 5-1 to Cloud9.
And this was, I think, one of those classic situations where you want INTZ to be playing positions that are good for maybe taking fights, but delaying time as well. But it looked like the fights that they took on the lower side were all very committed in preventing the bomb plant. So you're not playing for time there. If they were different spots, maybe there's a chance.
Playing those like one and done spots.
Yeah.
You're pretty good for one, but that second one afterwards. And Yell almost came up big there. He had the MP9 lurking, playing patient in secret. Almost caught Cloud9 transitioning to lower. That molly was a little bit closer to him. I think he would have won that, got that second kill, and that would have been the round.
Yeah, I felt like, for me, INTZ, you know, I wanted them to kind of win that round because I feel like Cloud9 didn't leave themselves enough time to properly take a good option. But it worked out for C9. They did end up hitting the shots, and that's what all it comes down to at the end of the day.
And Automatic also solo taking ramp, pushing that player lower. And that was good, forcing INTZ back lower and creating some space.
Slow one for Cloud9. INTZ with next to nothing to offer, apart from 1 Deegs, really, in this round, and Cloud9 need to play their time wisely. Sometimes it be that way.
We won't talk about that.
Chillo's got an off angle, another opportunity, and could go through the box. It's a big box though. And he's running out of bullets. And there were 2. Destiny.
Everyone's hitting Deagle body shots, but no one's connected it. There's some
That's
good
a fatigue man
opportunities
from the
there,
overtimes. Too many overtimes now. The headshots have gone.
They're just spent.
The 1 Deegs are turned into 2 Deegs.
They got that 1 round, and that's... Is that going to be it, James?
It might be. The way Cloud9 took map control in on the upper area a few rounds ago, they had 2 players in garage with 10 people alive, which is kind of strange.
It's starting to look a little bit scary here for INTZ, the amount of rounds that Cloud9 are building.
There was a tag there. A little late on the register though. 6-1 for Cloud9. INTZ playing the waiting game.
And looking at the radar, it looks like INTZ already have 2 lower.
Heading towards secret to this side.
Timing.
Just doesn't help, does it? Does not help. That's quite the peak from Cello. But they've got problems on the A-bomb site. SHZ will win the first duel. He's completely blind. Still deploying grenades though. Maybe a team flash in there as well. Somehow he's still alive and Yell's in position now. 1 minute on the clock and Mixwell's collected the bomb, but where can it go? He's alone. They couldn't trade around a squeaky position because they were so busy throwing all those chain flashes they want into the mini position. And INTZ will survive with 4. Three Kriegs on the CT side. Not too shabby.
Cho's got good mechanics. He's a good fragger. Ever since I first saw him, you know, he's a player that I was like, ooh, this guy is... He is a fragger.
Definitely a crispy repeat secret. 3 HP.
Yeah.
Just trusting he's gonna fight. He's all in.
It's good. It's good stuff. So Cloud9, they finally lost a round. They had quite a streak. INTZ now, they picked up 3 creeks. Emergency, break glass. So Mixwell with the creep. Is he gonna go all the way down by himself? Oh, he's actually managed to find the kill on the Cello. Hello! Number 2, Zan's waiting there as well. Okay, so 5 versus 3. But a minute to go. Pretty ideal for Cloud9.
Yeah, and that's, again, they're pushing up secret with 2 players. They did that the previous round, and I mean, I'm fine with that, but not if the T's have thrown the wall of smokes and there's a chance that they could have crossed.
Right.
You can try to peek up before those smokes, find a timing. I think that's good, but a little bit greedy there. And looks like Cloud9. What are they doing? Upper exec.
Clock is running low. Do INTZ commit to 1 bomb site here? Because when do Cloud9 move through these choke points? 20 seconds left, and there's 1 player creeping into mini. SHZ's on fire. Oh my god, the indecision. That is a complete disaster. He's left his teammates. Why?
Just staring at it. Just looking at that fire. Could put this out.
I think he thought he clicked in time. You know, like you pull out the smoke and you try to click and you think you got it, and then you switch back.
Surely it'll be just as fast just to let it switch back automatically. I don't know what just happened there, but that was an opportunity lost. Probably doomed anyway. But now we never know. We will never know. 7-2. Mixed bag from INTZ. CZ down to a ZZ, up to an AWP. Mixwell creeps outside. Once again, INTZ make their way through B towards Secret. But again, they're at the mercy of their opponent. Just playing a reactive game for the most part. TL in a very forward position. He'll have lots of sound cues. And what's the thing? This is the map control I was talking about. There were 2 players in Garage. This time there are 3. With ease. With no resistance at all. Where do we go now? That's how this one goes, right?
Yeah, Cello guarding heaven, which is needed. The creep comes. They all look to pillage. Should be 1 kill at least for Zan. He's been spotted, and there's the trade. Does some good damage, but the territory is being claimed by Cloud9, and they have every option afforded them. Upper, lower, it's just all Cloud9 at this point. 10s here, guaranteed frag.
What?
Oh, he actually got hit as well. That's that is crazy.
How do you land that?
Why would he crouch there?
That's
That
so
would be
amazing.
so annoying.
Yeah.
That would be one of the ragey ones. Like Mixwell 180 on trains a few weeks ago. INTZ, have they run out of steam? 2 rounds on the CT side is not the one. 2 rounds from 10, not the one. But that's going to be the situation very soon indeed. Again.
And that player in locker room when he was in the corner under heaven, he could have let the first player by. And if there was a little bit more trigger discipline, I think he would have picked up a second. Shot 2 in the side. A little antsy there.
Are we going to see some kind of aggression from INTZ? Because Cloud9 are doing whatever they want at this point, it feels like. Of course, that wasn't a full buy. Some players had pistols and so on. It was a mixed bag. But again, they are being victimized at the moment, it feels like. 3 players have 2 frags apiece in 10 rounds for INTZ. Destiny has 3.
Sand with 1. How many more? None. But Cello, he's going to make up for that. Ooh, can't quite find the next one. That's down to 3. But still, 3v3 in favor of Cloud9 in terms of them being on the T side. They've got all this to work with, and now they've got an upper bomb site. So, not too much EL can do here. He does have a deagle. There's 2 that are 1 shot away from death, so there is a world where he can find some extra damage at the very least.
Was that your movie voice?
No.
It's more of a children's,
That'd be Inner World.
children's
Inner
book
World.
reading voice. Barney
Yeah.
the dinosaur voice.
Oh, gonna creep around the back looking for guns, I guess.
Another round bites
Scavenger
the
hunt.
dust. Is there hope for INTZ? What do you think? What do you think?
It has to start next round. If they want anything, I think they have to win out. I'm gonna imagine that INTZ's Nuke isn't that strong. Just by going from what I saw from Train. I'd imagine INTZ has practiced Train a lot more than Nuke. So
I don't remember seeing them play Nuke. Maybe I have, but I don't remember it. And that's, if they haven't, I don't remember it, then that's not good either.
I've seen Brazilians play Nuke, but I don't know which ones.
Wow.
Because you know, it's like you see a lot of these players kind of in different
Shuffling
Brazilian,
around.
yeah, and so I'm like, which iteration of which like Luminosity
Yeah.
versus which INTZ?
Looks like Cloud9 have fast intentions. I like this when a CT side are like, finally, we're back on the buy, and then a T side just storm in. They may not have success here though, or maybe they will. Great damage on the A bomb side, then they rotate to B, but they've got a man disadvantage. Kusa going for the fastest plant possible. Oh, he somehow just gets away with that. Down the ladder, up the ladder, and that makes it well, there's a 1v1 to be had on the B bomb site. Automatic continues to chase Destiny, standing on the ladder, and there's more disaster to be had.
Yeah, INTZ kind of going in 1 by 1, kind of rushing things here, trying to punish that initial plant.
He's got no kits out.
Oh, I like this.
automatic
God.
burning.
No, no.
Oh, he got it!
Is he?
He's shooting too fast. Oh my god.
What an absolute baller!
Gotta pay more respect to the pistol, man. Otherwise, that's ridiculous.
He
got-
doesn't get
he
any more
dumped-
heroic.
He dumped the
Are
whole
you
main
kidding
set.
me?
That's so sick. What a player. The
That's
full 10-second defuse. He burns automatic to death.
Yeah, from full HP.
Oh my god. This game keeps delivering.
Wait, automatic at full HP?
It's like an 89 or something, 90. Yeah.
Because he has to like just take it. He wants to take it and just spray it down.
Well, the rounds continues to become more bizarre. The game, sorry. That is, I mean, you just don't see that. You don't see 10-second diffuses in smoke in professional matches. I don't know when I last saw that.
And he kills one player with the molly. Just
1v2, both players shooting at you, 10-second diffuse. I've never seen that in 5 years.
Yeah, that's the first. That's so weird. Classic CT spawn orbing. Let's go.
Nice shot.
I'm still recovering from the scenes we just witnessed. And INTZ are back where they were before, in the gutter more or less, as far as Nuke is concerned. What is there to do? It doesn't feel like they've had control ever.
No.
Mm-mm.
The issue is that they lose so many picks. There's been so many early picks for Cloud9.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that, to some extent, is that one of the kind of fundamentals of this map on the CT side is that it's a tug of war where you kind of have to give up position over time as the CTs. So, you know, if low is threatened, okay, you pull some rotation. If up is threatened, okay, you know, you change positioning, you just keep the rotations good for you. But as soon as you lose a player, suddenly everything goes really, really wrong. And it's like the same, like Train is similar with that, in that sense, I think.
Yeah.
So I think maybe INTZ, their aggressions are just a bit too crazy, maybe, not working out.
Yeah, in addition to that, also losing outside control most rounds, giving up secret, giving up CT warehouse, and we haven't seen INTZ really stacking outside one time. Like I would like to
Yeah.
see them send three out there, and just do a full trap or a full, you know, like we're gonna live or die fighting outside.
Yeah, I think they tried one setup where you had, or I think there was a couple times where Yale went aggressive, but he was kind of by himself. It wasn't like that 3-player commitment, which is, that's the kind of the big balls move. It's like, okay, we are gonna, as you say, like live and die by the play outside. And
Yeah, and instead, I think there was at least 2 gun rounds where they went too lower immediately, and that's just
yeah.
giving up way too much space.
Yeah, it does feel like Cloud9, it's like Nuke is twice as big against INTZ than it is against, you know, NRG, or EG, even if you're doing that. Are NRG like out of CS now, or are they like finding another team to pick up, or
No, they're out.
they're out of CS?
Seems like it, yeah.
Okay.
FACEIT taken much fire damage already. Careful with that Deagle spam. Yell wants to get his Bruce Willis on. Get into the vents. Flashbang on the outside. Cloud9 creating some space. Maybe looking to spread the CTs before they play into the A bomb site. Sands open the doors downstairs. That will surely be heard. That may give Cloud9 confidence if they choose to make this play into the A bomb site. Again, they're going into the garage. Cello's in secret though. That's some vital information. Yell making a play through Squeaky. Now the frags start to stream in, and it's business as usual for Cloud9. Destiny with a 5-7 won't get the job done just yet. He's fishing for it though. Gets there in the end. The bomb's been... No, it's not been lost actually. It's on 10s. And now Destiny's the only person left, but he's given himself a chance. The bomb has been planted. There's high ground advantage, which is really important. The old switcheroo. Don't think he'll really sell it this time. He is being waited for. The barrel of the gun has surely been seen. And 10s will finish off the job. 11-3 for Cloud9. On the T side of Nuke.
Yeah. It doesn't feel recoverable, but with this series, with these teams, I don't know that we can really put anything out there as guaranteed. So, another round, another buy, but the last one on this side, in this half for INTZ. They've got the AWP onto Zand at the moment, so perhaps has he got a spawn or something, or is he going to toss it to Yell? Where's Zand at? Where he's standing? Where's Zand? Give me Zand. There he is. So Yell actually has a more forward spawn.
The player is having an FPS issue, and the game, well, not the game won't be restarted, but his game will be restarted.
Ah. Okay, so
I think if you're INTZ here, you just push. You're either gonna push ramp with that op, slow push it, or peek hut, or peek outside. Just like go, you know, you have nothing to lose. Playing passive has not worked, so just do something completely drastic. So why not? What else do you have to lose? It's already like,
yeah.
you know, 3-11.
Who was it? I think, was it Olofmeister from FaZe that was peeking from huts with the AWP?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that one? That was fun. I want to see that again. That was cool. That's a very drastic play. You don't often see that one.
11-3, man. What has happened to INTZ? Such a long fight to get to this position. Where have they gone?
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be one of the issues, is like map pools as well in best of threes, which is why obviously a best of three is the best way to decide who's a better team in Counter-Strike as opposed to just one map. Even out the variance, and see if a team can play multiple halves.
Right squad lost to Furia 2-1. The right squad. FNS's team. Oh, well, how about that? We've gone over 10 once again. INTZ not showing us much of anything here on Nuke. On the CT side, they have been missing. They have been cadavers. They've been pinatas. Does anything get smashed at a bar mitzvah?
Don't know. I won't rest until we see 1337, James, in the odds. We've never breached. We've never gotten that far.
You need to let go of this number. At least you stop
What do you
telling me
mean?
when it's liter clock, because that really just kills me inside.
Why? Why is that?
Really lame, that's why. It's really lame.
You never use IRC, did you?
I did.
It's a common thing in IRC.
I did.
It's a tradition.
But no one ever said that in any of my channels. Ever. Do you know why?
And your channels probably suck then, I guess.
No, it's the opposite, Dan. It's the opposite. Hey guys. It's liter clock. Come on, man. Come on, do me a favor.
Yeah, you use scripts to do it, so you don't have to do the work.
Oh, is it even better?
Yeah, you like your server scripts. There you go.
Did you do it every day?
I didn't have to. Other people did it for me.
Oh, that's sick. Were you of this ilk, this liter clock ilk?
What does that mean? I know what IRC
When it's when it's 37 minutes past 1
is.
on a 24-hour clock, the military time. See, it's just you, Dan. It's just you and your like 5 dudes on IRC all pressing your script button together. It's liter clock, guys. Let's spam the chat.
Yeah, man.
Everybody else was busy doing anything else. That's what I've read from this situation.
Well,
On a survey here in the ECS studios.
it's the fast upper push, and it's going to be a wipeout for both teams. Cloud9 have a little bit more time than they usually have. Wow, they're really big numbers on the radar right now. Holy moly. That is, wow. Okay, well, automatic will get taken down. Really not too much that he can do there, but look at those CT rounds, just few and far between. We'll have to see if there's any life in the old dog yet after this short break.
Be like Bottle. Build your own community with your very own hub. Join other hubs and play more maps competitively than ever before. Compete for prizes and win FACEIT points just by playing your favorite games. It really is that simple. Join the community or create your own. Only at FACEIT.com.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
Here we go, once again. Last half between these two teams in this series. Cloud9 with a significant advantage. INTZ with a significant disadvantage. Who's going to win, James?
Well, let's just see how these first few rounds go, shall we? Because we've seen repeats. In weird situations like this, we have seen repeats. Cloud9 on the defensive. Daps is going to create some space with the smoke grenade. Going to try and hide behind it, buy some time for his teammates, try and get himself 1 versus 1s. Which he will, but he won't really get a frag out of it. Two-star, got some health. Open door, closed door. Only 1 kill so far for Cloud9, make it 2. There's got to be a kit somewhere. Daps normally carrying 1. Now it's automatic. Alone in a 1 versus 2. They've got to time the double peek. He doesn't realise that they're both here, but he may have heard these reloads. This might be the information he's looking for. He's crept into a 1v1. He's not gonna. Oh, he's running out of bullets, but he's still having killed him. How have they not killed him? A crouched knife. He could have still won that.
Yeah.
That was so bizarre.
He was like a Neo.
That's like one of those situations as well where like you expect to die. So then you're like alive and you're confused. It's like, I didn't expect to make it this far. What's happening? Oh my god.
Your hand's pretty much already off the mouse at that point.
Yeah. Dude, I feel bad for Daps. He had like the entire like high school football team like running at him. And he's like trying to desperately backpedal there in like lower. It's clotheslines. Well, the Brazilians will start things off with a violent pace. And so far, so good. However, some Deagles are out. Automatic looking for that peek from Secret. When you play really slow in your anti-eco, anti-force buys, you do give the CTs in this situation opportunity to get shots off. There's one opportunity, obviously a slim one, but an opportunity nonetheless. But a nade from automatic actually did the damage to take down Destiny.
Cello can hear that rotation, but do you want to risk going for a smoke on anti-force buy? Probably not. Tense spots. Daps moves into position. 1 has crossed already. Automatic creeping, all trying to play off of each other. There's a distraction being run, and now they can move into Anarchy territory. Sure, it falls to pieces. The CZ is out, and Yell will fall as well. A better prepared team turns things around.
Well played from automatic. Great round from him. So much damage. But just a great team effort as well. The positioning. You know, Daps knew to like really be patient in his position around high. It's really easy to think that you have a moment you can run out and get a kill.
Yeah.
But he's playing to win the round instead.
And automatic getting away, coming up vent slowly. It's like 3 players.
Beautiful stuff.
And that was really good distraction. Whoever had the scout above heaven, he got the tag off and he's shooting just eagle shots, getting all this distraction. I guess that player next to door was just focused too much on heaven. He didn't see vent player come up.
Not too shabby, Daps. They're playing off each other. Absolute brutality. It's Mortal Kombat. Into the smoke, Yell goes, never to be seen again. Into the ether. Not quite the Lazarus pit. And out of 5 to 13, it's Eco Town for INTZ. Not where you want to be. Not many shops open in Eco Town. Good pistol purchase, but it doesn't look good. Cloud9 are very well equipped. They're coming into this one like the Delta Force. We need more Delta Force movies. Why haven't they remade that yet?
Ooh. Oh my.
It's satisfying, isn't it?
That was a catch.
Oh, again. Squeeze the cherries, Mixwell. Squeeze the cherries. Give me the sugar. Give me the sugar. There's another one.
The crazy thing is that the first guy he got, he like hesitated at first and then caught him on the drop down whilst he was like falling. That was pretty cool.
Do you remember that frag from Get Right?
Yeah, it's with the Tech 9 falling from heaven.
Off the catwalk.
Yeah.
Remember when there was a catwalk?
Do you remember when the Tech 9 was like completely accurate when you're in the air? Oh, well, I guess that was a thing though with the Scout too. Like if you have,
It was just
it's basically the accuracy is calculated if you have no velocity, like 4 is left or right, back or backwards velocity. So you're just dropping straight with no velocity in those directions, you're accurate still.
Yeah.
And that's how he got a headshot by falling. DAY9.
Desperate times. I feel like INTZ may have mentally checked out. Have they given up? Just trying to force their way in, use the numbers. Not quite working out just yet. 1 versus 2. SHZ sees the trajectory of the grenade and he's looking for Kustar. What a turnaround from INTZ. Running into A. They should have lost that round. They won it. I don't know what else to add, to be honest.
It's like watching retakes, like a retake server at the moment. It's just craziness.
Yeah, SHZ with the hard read, clearing door like that. I don't know if you heard a footstep or his teammates called it, but he's just straight swinging there out of all the places.
Good read indeed.
Reminds me of one of the very, very early UFCs, maybe UFC 1, where one of the commentators said, Colossal will swing it. That was like a memorable quote for a time. So they turned it into an actual sport instead of people's dads in a cage. People with one boxing glove on. From humble beginnings. Anyway. Got a good buy for Cloud9. How has Cello King got into that position? Got players crossing. Secret. So there must have been some sound cues of some description for him to get all the way to there. Automatic has now eliminated the problem. He's exterminated the vermin, but there's more to come. INTZ looking to spread all over the B-bomb site. Door is open. Yell's got no idea. He's got no idea. He's got no chance now either. 5 versus 2. Automatic's gun is actually blocking his vision of the door from the angle he was holding. Flashbang. SHZ spotted in control. That's one of the 2 players positionally identified. If Sand opens second door, then they'll know all the information, Cloud9, but he's looking to play off of his teammate, one would assume. Oh, the door's open. Lots of movement from Cloud9. You can see Sand following it with his crosshair. But the onus is on them to plant the bomb, which they're not even holding right now. Automatic's being taken out. They know at least 1 play secret, but will they expect 2? Could be a bait setup. 1 is crossed, taken care of, and somehow they're turning it around again. There was 29 seconds to plant the bomb. They've killed 2-3 players.
Bomb has been planted.
This is turning into anarchy. The scope is heard by Daps. Doesn't connect the shot though. Doesn't connect the dots. Doesn't see the player up top. That should have been another round for Cloud9, surely.
Yeah, I thought that INTZ kind of almost threw it away because they try to just rush into a bomb plant without taking control of control, and then that went really poorly for them. Was this 2v5 or 2v4? I didn't catch that.
I think it was a 2v4.
It's still kind of 2v5, apparently.
Oof.
They believed in their liars.
Yeah, so that's really rough. That's a rough one to lose. Can't believe the nose.
Yeah, there's 2 opportunities for Cloud9 to move into a closing position, but INTZ seems have forced their will to extend this one. Not done with it just yet, but can they take it all the way back to tie the score? I'm not so sure just yet.
I like it. I want to see more weird situations. Like the 1v2 defuse, 10-second defuse.
I forgot about that.
Right?
There's been a lot of stories to tell in this game. Okay,
nice.
not too shabby. Mixwell playing anti-flash. That's like how you move away from the angle, expecting the peak, trying to catch the T's looking elsewhere. Doesn't quite work out for him though, but it's a noble effort. And Mixwell now is the only man remaining. There we go. The eco is done, and we'll see what Cloud9 choose to do. TenZ have got 38.50 in the bank. But on Nuke you can buy some lesser weapons, and it looks like, okay, it is going to be the half buy from them. Looking for the full buys. INTZ are not too far away, as weird as it looks. Considering this is an eco round for Cloud9. Almost at 12. But INTZ could quickly be at 10. And then you do wonder, these Brazilian squads have a knack for a comeback. So they just keep finding success with these very aggressive plays, and who the hell knows what happens. It would be the weirdest timeline if they were to win this, but we can't say for sure that Cloud9 are going to.
And nothing is for sure. Except more Counter-Strike. And there you go. There goes Daps.
Deleted.
So they've done enough to secure the round. But Automatic will steal a Krieg away, so that's nice.
I don't know that they've done enough to secure the round just yet. They have one-man advantage. Destiny could get picked off. They are slow to plant the bomb, which is allowing the CTs to take more position if that's what they want to do. 2 versus 4 now, maybe too much to ask. So much time on the clock. Maybe expecting the CTs to move into position. They'll use the numbers to abuse the CT players. Tenders being afforded 1 versus 1s and another one. And here comes the cavalry. Automatic now lining them up. There's, oh, we thought he had the kill. But Tenders here with the Krieg.
Guaranteed, James. It's guaranteed.
Yeah, it was never in doubt.
You know, especially that spot where they're just trying to face Pens as Deagle, shoulder peeking with a Deagle. I feel like shoulder peeking against a Deagle, just don't ever challenge.
That's what we spoke about on train.
Yeah, just never challenge those spots. It's like, especially because you can play, especially in that position that player was, in a position where you commit them to away from a corner, and then they don't have anything. They can't win the fight without a 1 peek. Yeah, it always makes me very anxious when I see that.
INTZ have a player on the lower ground already. Automatic. He's got sound cues of 3 players. Kusta gets taken out on the B bomb site. That's in the vents now. Automatic up top. Oh, there's mass confusion, but still, this is just the wildest game. Look, INTZ are probably going to get to 10 rounds now. That's only 4 away from Cloud9. Despite how non-existent they were in the first half, somehow the score is still close. 2 versus 3, though, this can still go either way. The bomb is isolated for the time being. Mixwell looking to deploy an incendiary, which tells INTZ where half the remaining players are for Cloud9. All timing. Crosshair was a bit low, getting ready to peek the stairs. That leaves Mixwell in a 1 versus 3. He has some footsteps. Oh my god, SH said what happened there. Now he's got a 1v1 with the bomb carrier. Oh, what's going on?
Why is he there? It's so mad. That round was so ridiculous. Automatic's play, I thought he was going to get 3 players. Firstly, like, how the hell did he get on top of the red container? I've never seen a player do that in that situation.
INTZ getting players down the vent round after round is causing colossal problems to Cloud9. If they can stop that from happening, then maybe they can have a normal round. But yeah. INTZ are creating bizarre situations and then capitalizing on them, and Cloud9 can't deal with it.
The crazy thing is they're not even like winning rounds where they like win through detonation, like forcing a save or something. The round is like ending in other weird ways, just always by elimination though. Oh, look how ready they were for it. Same players down there. Now Automatic's got a Krieg, he's got armor. This is extremely dangerous. It's a very strong position with this Krieg. They cannot challenge that without the correct nades.
And that Krieg could rotate anywhere, and I think this is the right kind of round against the wrong kind of team in the sense that INTZ may struggle to deal with a situation like this. But that said, SHZ has got a 180 kill.
That's so huge.
4 versus 2 is pretty big. So much time on the clock as well. No pressure in that regard, although they won't take this one quickly.
They could win this best of 3.
They could.
Just allow that to sell there.
Yeah.
They could win this.
It's actually happening. And they're totally abusing getting down that vent. And Cloud9, they don't have a response.
This is a good spot though. Look at the okay, there's a free one. Just diving out with the pistols, lining up, making it very scary, but still the round goes to INTZ.
All right, Cloud9 have got to stop that leak in the vents.
Yeah, I think one of the best ways is if you have best spawn, you try to go outside to mini and try to beat that player there. You can either have an op post up, or you can get a molly off, or just spray through it. Another option is you just send one straight lower from ramp, and you try to fight that guy.
Like the first option you suggested more. Spam.
There he goes. In the event once again.
Nice.
100% success rate. However, Mix was in control, but Cello seems to have an inkling that something is up. I don't know if you heard the glass smash or if you had a scope, but he seems to realize that his area is compromised. That's a huge frag for Automatic. Now, Cello seems paralyzed at the moment.
Yeah.
If Mixwell turns the corner, surely he's doomed if the angle's being held. Automatic's 20 HP in the meantime. Mixwell has to be patient. He knows there's a player lower somewhere. It's not safe for him to peek around the corner. There's the delivery they were looking for. They finally adjusted to this play one way or another. But there's still a chance for something to be done. Ooh, now there isn't. The old 20 HP 1 versus 4. And now they know exactly where he is, which means every other CT can take a very aggressive position, and he's extremely limited in where he can go. If he takes a shot through the box and misses, it's over. Match point Cloud9.
The thing with Cello going down there as well is that he effectively just cancels out Mixwell, which I think is, you know, that's a huge win in just his presence. But obviously, like, he's not supposed to push that by himself, ultimately. So it was up to his teammates to be successful in their attempts to gain position.
Yeah, he's got Olive lower, meaning a 1-for-1 trade-off or wash with an op. Like that.
I like this. Just keep doing it. Just like this is really powerful. This time he's going to take a different position. And the mind games begin because do you have the same response? Is it going to be Mixwell posted up down there? You've got Automatic going down instead. His teammates, instead of going around outside, that's huge damage from Kusta. This might be the way that it ends. This is a great, very promising start for Cloud9.
Showing presence at the bottom of the ramp, then repositioning towards Hell. Smart stuff. INTZ have 1 flashbang, 1 Molotov, and 1 HE. And those last 2 grenades were on 1 player.
Where's Mixwell at? He's... Okay, he's outside. Oh, Hell.
Have you ever broken glass in case of emergency, Dan?
No.
I'm surprised.
It's a great pick-off. Just 1, but it's going to help so much. There's no smoke on INTZ. This is very tough. They're all posted up, ready to defend. It's going to be nothing short of a miracle here for INTZ to stay alive in this situation.
27 seconds. And they haven't eliminated a single player, and they're still playing it pretty slow. They've got to deal with it. Got to find these players and eliminate them, and it's not going to happen. Close, almost down to the wire. Longer than Cloud9 may have wanted, but they will grind out the victory.
Automatic, 31 for 15.
Yeah, that was a long battle. A very long battle. It was a 4-hour game of Counter-Strike.
Oh, wow.
And it is Cloud9 who ultimately take it versus the likes of INTZ. They ran out of steam on their CT side, but again, you make no assumptions because all too often we see the mirror when things turned around, and again, Cloud9 suffered, but in different ways. I would say Cello going down the vent every single round caused all kinds of problems for Cloud9, and the comeback continued and continued, but didn't quite get there. These replays brought to you by NVIDIA. Here are the scores on the doors. Automatic going nuclear with 3,300 damage. 3,300 plus. Again, they're grinding out the victories, and that's good for Cloud9 in the sense that they have a lot of data to look at, to work with in terms of improving for the games and rounds to come. So, a long slog versus INTZ. From the INTZ perspective, again, they've always had a lot of holes in their game. But I feel like maybe there's improvement to be had, as in like that we can reasonably expect, because with teams like INTZ and LG, we looked for that for the longest time. Didn't really get there. Didn't really see the improvement we're looking for, but maybe with this roster, there's more to be had.
And they had definitely some good chances to win that game of Nuke, which is kind of surprising. They earned that. And what I would really have loved to have seen is Cello not going down events every time, but just you know, throwing the same utility and creating enough noise that they still pull the rotation down, because you know I think that Cloud9 would have had to do that. They would have had to rotate someone down, because you can't know 100%.
And here is the bracket. So Furia beat Riot Squad 2-1, and they will be playing Cloud9 in the latter part of the bracket. I believe 80k in complexity. I'll get an updated score for you, but it will be X Singularity versus Evil Geniuses. That is coming up after the break, and we will be heading to a break. It's been a long day, but there's one more best of 3 to come. But before we go to that break, it is time for the X Factor play of the game. What do we have? God, I can't even imagine. With so many rounds.
It's gonna be the defuse, man.
It's got to be.
Give me the
I mean,
defuse.
that's gonna make 2019 top 5 plays.
Yeah, there we go.
This is okay. So there's one smoke deployed.
I think he flashes automatic here. Or no? Oh, he went for full spray. And he dodges 20 bullets at the edge of the smoke. And gets the frag.
Absolute madness. Absolute madness. That is a very bizarre diffuse, and probably one you may never see again, to be honest. It's that wild. Anyway, Cloud9 and Dying and Molotovs, eh? We'll see you after the break for X Singularity versus Evil Geniuses.